Hey everyone, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel. I thought maybe some of you might be interested in seeing what colors I chose to put in this new little Fume watercolor palette that I purchased recently. And I did pick up some of those Holbein watercolors and put them in here, but I filled out the rest of the palette with some other colors as well. So let's take a look and see what's in here. I'm excited to use this cute little palette. I think it's just the cutest thing. I have some Fabriano Studio watercolor paper. It's 25% cotton. So this first color is Daniel Smith Quinacridone Pink, and it's a really beautiful, beautiful color. And then I also added a couple of the reds. This is the Holbein Rose Madder. You can see it's a little bit bluer than that pink is. Very beautiful color. And then I also have the Holbein Quinacridone Scarlet as well. You can see it has a little bit more warm tone to that. A little bit more yellow. And then I also added the Danielle Smith Raw Sienna, and this will be a nice color to have in the palette. Since it's such a small palette, this will be a nice color to have in there to use for skin tones. And then I added the Holbein Quinacridone Gold. This is just a lovely, lovely gold color. And then I added, for a little bit brighter yellow, I added the Daniel Smith Cadmium Yellow Light. It's a little bit brighter. Then I added the Holbein Naples Yellow, and this color is so soft and buttery. It just reminds me of spring and buttercup flowers. And I think it's a really beautiful yellow. And then I also added the Danielle Smith, I keep saying Danielle. You'd think I know how to say it, Daniel, since my dad's name is Dan. Daniel Smith Buff Titanium, and I think this is a beautiful color as well. And that actually mixes really well with the skin tones. It'll mix really well with the pinks. So I like that color a lot. And then for a bit of fun, I added Daniel Smith Cobalt Teal. And this color makes really fun greens when mixed with different yellows, and I think it's a really beautiful color. Then I added the Holbein Cerulean Blue, and that's a nice sky blue. And then I added Holbein French Ultramarine Deep. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous blue and will be beautiful in mixes as well. And then lastly, I added an indigo. I chose the Schminke indigo. I just really like how the color of this pigment separates, and I just really love that indigo color as well. So those are the colors I used in my cute little palette. And I am excited to play with these. I think they'll be really fun to use, and they'll make some really beautiful, beautiful colors. So I'm going to go ahead and use the paints now. I've pulled out this Wispy Cosmos set from Impression Obsession. It's WP924, and I just really love the look of these flowers. So I've gone ahead and stamped some of them on that same watercolor paper. So this is Fabriano 25% cotton studio watercolor paper. And let's just go ahead and use these fun new colors and see what we get. So let's see. I think I'll mix up a couple different greens for the background. I think I'll start with the Cobalt Teal. Get some of that paint over there. And then I think I'll mix in this cadmium yellow light and get a really bright, cheerful green going. see. I think I just want to paint the background around them with some of that green. So I'm just going to wet the paper, and my brush has a little bit of that green pigment in it yet, but that's okay. This image is stamped with, what kind of ink is it? VersaFine Onyx Black. You can't really see the name of my ink anymore, but that's what it is, Onyx Black. So just add a little bit of color around there, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of that green pigment and drop it into where I've added water to the background. I think I'll eventually go in and paint the leaves of the cosmos here a little bit darker green. I thought it'd be fun to have a nice, bright, cheerful green in the background here. Adding a little bit more of that turquoise, or that cobalt teal, I should say. And wet the other side as well. This paper isn't taped down or anything, so I'll have to deal with a little bit of warping, but that's all right. This is, after all, just for a card. And since it's in a background, I don't mind if the color varies from area to area, so I don't necessarily need to have a great big bunch of color mixed up. I'm okay if there's lots of variation. All right. I think I will let that dry and see what we get. I think in the meantime, though, I think I'll add a little bit more darker green down here so that it kind of bleeds into that background as well. I think I'll use the French ultramarine and that cadmium yellow, and add a little bit of indigo to get a little bit more depth in that green. If you've ever seen cosmos, when they start budding, they create these adorable little, almost like a palm of leaves, and then the little budded flower comes into the center there. And they're the cutest little early bloomer or early blooming bud shapes. Indigo blue is so pigmented. Okay, it just really packs a punch. A little tiny bit of it goes a really long ways. All right, I think I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back and paint my flower petals. All right, so it's not quite dry here in the center, but I'm going to go ahead and start working on these flower petals here. It's almost dry. I'm okay if it bleeds a little bit into the background too. This is a rather loose painting, so I'm just getting a little bit of water on these open petals, and then I'll start flooding in some of that pink color. And once I get a little bit of a base layer down here, I can go back in and add a little bit more color and definition to each of these petals. Here are those colors now that they've dried. See how the cobalt teal kind of separates? And how this indigo here just has a lot of interest in it. So beautiful. I'll have to do something fun with this swatch here. Sometimes when I make swatches, I do things like this and draw birds on them. Because why not? I mean, if you're going to play with colors and make little blobs, you might as well do something with them, right? Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more color here to my flowers. All right, so I've cut a piece of mint, I can't remember the actual color, mint something or other, cardstock from Stampin' Up. I thought this looked really pretty with the cobalt teal, turquoise, or cobalt teal paint that I used. Looks like I need to cut my card base down just a smidge. I'll be right back. I think that will be really beautiful. Then I'm going to use some of this tea-dyed seam binding or colored seam binding that I have in my stash here. This is from a package that was given to me by my friend, and she had some yellow seam binding, and then I have this stuff as well. I think I'm going to use this because instead of just a plain yellow, I'm going to use this one because it has a little bit of the turquoises, a little bit of the pinks, and that I think will play nicely with my painted image. So I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to add a little bit of faux stitching to this as well. And I think, I don't know, since I added the tea-dyed stamping in the background there, I'm trying to decide if I want to ink the edges or not. I don't think I do. I think I want to leave them white, but I do want to add some faux stitching. So I'm going to go ahead and zip that up there. I really like how the paint really has a nice soft edge here, which is why I didn't want to tea dye or ink, you know, distress that outside edge. I like the subtle fade of color there. There, I like that. So I'm going to adhere this to my card base. So to do that, because this is watercolor paper and it's got a little bit of warp in it yet, it's probably not quite dry, but you know, patience, patience. Okay, now it's nice and dry. Still kind of warpy, so I'm going to stick with my double-sided adhesive here. There we go. I think I'll leave a sentiment off of this one for now, and when I decide who to send it to, I'll add the sentiment on the inside. And then let me go ahead and tie this beautiful seam binding to the front of my card. And having that bow right up on the edge there gives those flowers something to poke out from. Beautiful. Well, thanks for watching as I played with my new paints and created a cute swatch card and then painted some flowers with my new paint. So hope you enjoyed. Talk to you guys later. Bye.